guys, what's up? Bargainman Hobo here, and yep, I'm finally back in my old space. So it's time for my 100 subscriber special! Guys, I'm serious. I've gushed about this a bunch, I know, but I can't thank you guys enough for this. You know, you guys, 100 people want to put up with my crap, and I don't know how to react to that. Just thank you so much. So in honor of this, I put up a little poll where you guys would vote on what game you wanted, and it's time to reveal that game. Alright, so I got it in my desk drawer here. The game you guys voted for was... I knew this was coming eventually. Oh, okay. You can do this, Hobo. Alright, so to all the kids out there who want to become game reviewers, go right ahead. Just be wary. You can only get away with only talking about genres you like for so long. You're eventually going to have to delve into stuff you're not a fan of. For me, I'm not a fan of racing games, but you guys voted for it, so here it is. Today we're going to do Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing on Xbox 360. I should mention, on the whole, I'm not a fan of racing games, I just don't find them engaging. That's not to say there aren't racing games that I like, and we'll get into those more as we go on. But for now, here's Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, since that's what you guys voted for. Now, when you talk about racing games, there's three types. Simulation, which try to mimic reality as closely as possible with realistic physics, specifications that matter, etc. Kart racers, like Mario Kart, where you have a certain amount of cars and you use weapons to try and get to the end first, or as close to it as possible. And arcade racers, which fall somewhere in the middle. So, let's find out where this game falls. Alright everyone, time to rev your engines, because it's time to Hobo up!
The story for Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing is... well, there isn't. Kart racers typically don't have thick stories, and this one certainly doesn't, but before we move on, let's take a look at this intro cutscene. It's really well done. It's exciting, it's fun, it shows what kind of characters there are and what kind of vehicles they drive. Honestly, it gets me really excited to play the game, so kudos to them for that.
Alright, so, the lack of a story, you know, that's not a bad thing. Really, it's just characters racing. What room even is there for a story? Well, that makes my job easier at least, so we can just get to the gameplay now.
Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, we're just going to call it Sonic Racing from here on in, is a kart racer, where the goal is simple: win. Get in first or as close as possible using a variety of different weapons and tactics you can use with a variety of different vehicles that you can unlock as you play. The controls are very tight and responsive, and the game does a good job with the first impression. When you first start up the game, you're given the option to take a test drive, which I recommend you do if it's your first time playing. It does a great job teaching you everything you know, and this is one of my favorite courses in the game anyway, so there's a nice touch. There are a variety of gameplay modes to play. There's the Grand Prix, which is just like Mario Kart, you race 4 races to try and get the Gold Cup. There's a single race, where you just race one single race. There's a time trial, which is good for setting records, but also practicing tracks you aren't very good at. And then there's the mission mode. In mission mode, you're given a variety of different missions. Things like catch a certain racer, or drift a certain distance, etc, etc. These are really fun, but some can be really hard, and you need to get at least an A rank to unlock the next mission. Overall, a fun mode and a good way to earn Sega miles. We'll get back to those in a sec, but let's check out the rest of the modes first. Going further into Grand Prix, it's pretty simple. You get a racer, you get a cup, and you race that cup, try and get first, second, or third, and of course you get points as you race, and if you have the most points at the end, you win the Gold Cup. Pretty simple if you already know what to do. The single race is, again, a single race. If you just want to do one really quick race, and like the Grand Prix without doing the entire cup, this is the way to go. You can still pick a course and driver, so there's that, it's still pretty good. Time trial lets you drive a single track as much as you want. You can set ghosts and have leaderboard ghosts as well, but if you're not connected, you can't have them. Now, there's a time limit there, but don't worry about it, the time limit is really generous. I don't think I ever ran the time limit down once, and I'm not sure what happens if you run out, but I don't think you will. You get plenty of time to run the track all the way through, so you won't have a problem finishing the track. And like I said, if you're unfamiliar with the track, it's a good way to practice. There's a few things to be aware of. First off, there's drifting. Drifting is very important in the race as it helps get on tight turns but also builds speed. Honestly, the drifting can help decide between a Gold Cup and a Silver Cup, so get good at it because you're gonna need it. Also, just like Mario Kart, there's plenty of items to use, some for offense, some for defense. You'll need to get used to these as the enemies will gladly use them against you. So, you really need to learn to use these against your enemies as well. Definitely use them. Speaking of items, there's one to be aware of, the All-Star. If you're not doing so good in the race, you can bust out one of these. It can really even the odds, get you from last place to first place. It's very handy, and you're not likely to get it. In fact, you won't get it all if you're in first place. But it can mean the difference between first and last place in a hairy race. And now I'd like to talk about certain differences between 3 different versions: the Xbox 360 version, which I own, the Wii, and the PS3. The Xbox 360 version is probably the one to get if you've got one, as not only can you play as Banjo-Kazooie, you now play as your avatar. The Wii version allows you to play as your Mii, and the PS3 version, nothing. So yeah, the PS3 version is the weakest one of these 3. If you've got the option between the 3, the PS3 should be your last option. The Sega Miles you accumulate by playing all the modes are the game's currency. You'll use these to get new racers, new music, and new track. Thing is, some of this stuff can get very, very expensive and can take a really long time to get a lot of Sega Miles unless you're just really good at the game. So prepare for a lot of grinding. While the grab iron is still hot, there is one more thing I'd like to address. That's the AI. At times, the AI can get really cheap. They all gang up on you, pummel you, and keep you from winning first place unless you know how to get around that. AI is mostly good, but there are times it's just gonna all gang up on you and beat you up. It can be annoying, but you just have to learn how to take it in your stride. Although, if you were to ask me my favorite part about the gameplay, that would be being in second or third place, and then right at the last possible second, you throw an attack at the guy in first place, drive by and win. I love it when you can do that at the last possible second. That makes the game really exciting.
Okay, so this isn't really bad. I mean, I'm having a good time with it. You know, like I said, it's super satisfying to just be in second or third, use a weapon right at the end and boost past your enemy and get first. That's always fun. And those All-Stars are fun too. How's the game look and sound though? Well, let's get into that.
Graphically, this game is awesome. There's very good use of color that can either be bright and poppy or dark and dreary, depending on the environment you're in. And the environments are all very good, they're fun to race in, all the characters look and sound like they should. It's a really great game that pays a lot of respect to the games it takes from. All the music in the game is taken from popular Sega games like Super Monkey Ball, of course Sonic, House of the Dead, etc. And it all sounds great. Like I said, you can swap out different tracks and different race tracks, but you can't have Can You Feel the Sunshine in the Monkey Ball stages. But aside from that, the music is really good, it sounds great. Also, there's an announcer who comments on things during the racing. He is pretty fun to listen to, and he did make me laugh a few times, but if you do get sick of him, you can turn him off.
So that's Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. How does it stand? Let's dust off the old rating system and find out. How does it play? It plays incredibly well. The game is fun, even if someone's not a fan of kart races, the controls are responsive, and while it can be kind of a pain to grind for Sega Miles, it is what it is, you know, it's not completely horrible. And I wouldn't recommend getting the PS3 version because there's literally nothing about it the other versions don't have. Well, and how's it look and sound? Well, it looks and sounds great. Everything looks great, the colors really pop, it's bright and colorful, and the songs are great, you can switch them out on the tracks, and it's just a really cool game. If you're a fan of kart races, you're gonna grab this, because Hobo approves. Well, that's gonna do it for us this time on Bargain Bin Reviews. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks again for all the subs, guys. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in a couple weeks for my 2nd anniversary. Until then, Hobo out!